evening. This is meteorologist DT from WXRisk.com talking about our snowstorm video podcast. In this particular issue or edition, we're going to be talking about the potential mid-Atlantic snowstorm, which is looking fairly likely for the middle Atlantic region at this point. There are still some caveats out there, things you have to watch, which could bust or alter the forecast. But the trend appears to be going in the right direction. Now, this is not going to be a huge event. I know there's some concern in Hampton Roads, Southeast Virginia, eastern North Carolina, the Delmarva, since they got hit pretty bad on January 3rd, 4. This is going to be nothing like that event. Did we all hear that? Did you hear the inflection of my voice? Nothing like what we saw on January 3rd or 4th. It will be accumulating snow, and it could be decent snow in some areas of Virginia and West Virginia, southern Maryland, places like that. So let's get right to it and take a look and see what's going on here. Now, our topics are going to be, this is not a common way or method for West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, Southeast Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey to get accumulating snow. This is somewhat unusual. So we'll talk about that. And the key here is the development of an upper low in the jet stream. We'll talk about this in detail. And the northern jet stream, which has got to form. And it has to track in the right way. It can't form and track over Michigan and New York State. It's got to come down into Kentucky, West Virginia, and Virginia. We'll talk about the snow ratios and then what happens after the event. All right, these are our temperatures forecasted for Tuesday morning. You can see it's quite cold. And, it was cold today, cold Monday morning. So a lot of cold air here. Any warmth that we saw on the ground is gone from the last couple of days ago, last week. Notice also the sub-zero temperatures. This is the next Arctic blast coming through. And this system is actually a Arctic cold front, part of an Arctic blast. So we can see these temperatures here. Look at those very sub-zero temperatures here on Tuesday morning in single digits here. This is all part of an Arctic cold front. And that energy is what's going to cause the low to try and form somewhere here. So a lot of cold air coming in, no doubt about that. All right, this next one here, this is the temperatures on Wednesday morning. Now notice on Wednesday morning, the big temperature difference across the area. See this? Now why the temperature is so different? Well, one, it's the mountains, but two, ahead of the cold front, like with every cold front, when you have a low here and a cold front and a warm front, you get southwest winds coming up ahead of the cold front. Well, that's pulling up somewhat milder air, but also somewhat moist air. So we're not going to have a big thing here with regard to having the cold Arctic air become wetter or more moisture with a very low dew point. We're not going to see that this time. So that's one thing working for your advantage. The air is moist enough, but it will still be cold to support snow, but not too moist, it won't be too warm. So it would be an ideal situation here. Now, of course, look at the brutally cold temperatures here Wednesday morning. By this line, you can see it right along the Virginia, West Virginia state line here. Very impressive. And into western Pennsylvania, you can see it's sub-zero in Kentucky, sub-zero Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, eastern Ohio. Very impressive cold temperatures. Now that will be coming in behind the system. But here comes our thing. This is how this pattern develops here. Now watch this very carefully. So we have two distinct jet streams here. So let's call them out so you can follow what I'm talking about here. Now this one is the southern jet stream, right? Okay, and there's a piece of energy right in here. We can see this little bend. There's a piece of energy right in here. This is the northern jet stream. See the green? Okay. Now there's a piece of energy. See how this thing loops like this? This represents a strong piece of energy. This feature is going to swing down towards Virginia, and that causes the storm to form. Now we can see this is Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. See how this has happened? Look what the northern jet stream has done. Follow the green. Follow the green. See how it's pushed down to Arkansas, and then like this. So here we have southwest winds pulling up some decent moisture at low levels, and this is the big piece of energy here in the jet stream that's going to cause the low pressure area to form. And then finally, here is the European model valid for 84 hours, which is Wednesday night. And we have a very pronounced upper low. You can see it quite clearly. Right here, you can see there's the upper low. Or perhaps, maybe I'll try the blue box here. You can see it that way. Yeah, there's the upper low right there. Over West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, western North Carolina. That's a good placement for mid-Atlantic. And again, it's come all the way down from south central Canada. Not the common way we get a snowstorm in Virginia. So if for any reason it does not happen, we're going to end up with a vastly different forecast. Now, the image on the left is the European from Sunday afternoon. The image on the right is the GFS from Sunday afternoon. Okay, notice there is no closed 500 low here. See the difference between this and this? Big difference. So now the GFS would still be moderate snow showers, could be an inch or two of snow in some places, but vastly different setup than what the European is having. I think the European's correct, but I don't know that for a fact yet. Now this is the new NAM model, which came out this afternoon. And goes out to 84 hours. This is the old version of the NAM, the 32 kilometer NAM, or actually 12 kilometer NAM. And this has surface and upper air features. So the key upper air feature is this feature right here. There's the upper low again. And you can see again, it dropping down like this. See how it does this? There you go. Now that looks just like that. So that's good. That's a good sign that these two very different models are showing the same sort of thing. Now there's the there it is on this is some early Sunday morning, and again the European was showing some sort of upper low over Virginia on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So it's been pretty consistent. Now this is the GFS model, the upper air map from the GFS model. Notice this is from 12Z. Okay, this is Sunday afternoon. And you can see it's got a lot of energy. This orange stuff, these represent energy, Vort maxes. You can see the scale here. It's pretty vigorous, but there's no closed upper low here. But as we look at the 18Z, we can clearly see the model is trying to form one. Let's look at it again. See what it's doing? See the black lines, how they dig down towards Tennessee? Look. See that? See that? Okay. So the model is trying to form some sort of closed upper low here. We'll see if the GFS catches on or not. Now let's take a look at this. How does this happen? When's it going to start, DT? How does it move in? Pay attention to these maps. Okay, this is Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. We have light snow. So in case you can't see it, I drew in some of these maps here. See, over here is Roanoke, all right? And here's Richmond, and here's Norfolk. I like to pronounce Norfolk. There's Raleigh, okay, Elizabeth City. There's DC, okay, so we can see there's Charlottesville, and here's Harrisonburg and the other Staunton and Front Royal. So you can see the snow is not yet in DC, but it's reached Charlottesville and Lynchburg, Roanoke about there, then down at the here. This is 1 a.m. Okay, good. Not in Richmond, not in Raleigh, not in Eastern Virginia. Now this is 7 a.m. The black dots here are the cities. I drew them in for you. So you should know which cities these are, You really should at this point. I mean, this is Richmond here, and this is Roanoke over here, RO, and this is Norfolk here, ROF. Okay, that's Raleigh down here, RDU. This is Greensboro here. This is Charlottesville. Okay, that's Winchester, that's DC, that's Salisbury. I mean, you really should know this at this point. But anyway, you can see. Now, 7 a.m., the snow is coming in, and you can see it's reached Richmond, it's reached DC, it's reached Baltimore, down towards, I guess, Danville, South Boston, and then into Greensboro. It's not in Norfolk, it's not in Raleigh, it's not in Elizabeth City, not in Salisbury. And this blue stuff represents moderate snow over the central Piedmont. So that's interesting. Moderate snow there, if that's correct. Now this is 1 p.m. Again, the blue band here, especially this dark blue, represents moderate snow showing up in all the European models. This band in here, this is all moderate snow in here. Greensboro, just approaching Raleigh. Richmond, Charlottesville, leaving Roanoke, but still snowing moderately in Lynchburg, up to or close to DC area, into Tappahannock, into Fredericksburg, 1 p.m. Now the snow still has not reached Norfolk or Eastern Virginia, Elizabeth City. See, all still dry or Salisbury. No snow there yet, not at 1 p.m. It's all back in here. Okay, good. Now here is, this is 7 p.m. Moderate snow continues in Richmond. I'll tell you, Central Virginia, that looks like it's continuing there. All the way down to South Hill, Boston, Emporia, Raleigh. Rain and snow mix, sleet in Elizabeth City, gone over to all snow. Norfolk has gone over to all snow. Salisbury, moderate snow is about to begin. Patuxent River, St. Mary's, Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula. Yeah, you're getting snow by 7 p.m. Wednesday. Again, if you look at you estimate the time, that's 1 p.m., that's 7 p.m. So probably in Eastern Virginia, Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, you're snowing there by 4 o'clock, I would think. Something around that time frame. And again, this is still 3 days out, so we'll nail them more down tomorrow and on Tuesday. But this is a pretty good rough estimate. Now, notice at 7 p.m., the snow has ended here in Roanoke. The snow has ended in Greensboro. It was just about to. Yeah, still a little bit time left in Charlottesville and D.C. Okay, good. And then finally, this is 1 a.m. Thursday. It looks like it's about over in D.C. and Richmond. It's ended in Raleigh and Charlottesville. Still some decent snow in Salisbury and Norfolk, maybe Elizabeth City, Virginia Beach, Lower Virginia Eastern Shore, Southern Delaware. Now, if we look at the precipitation, this image on the left is this Sunday afternoon European precip mount. This is just liquid precip. All right. This is Sunday afternoon, and this is Sunday morning. Notice both models have this band like this. See? Obviously, there's some differences, but it's got the same general idea. I notice it's got a little more than a half inch in the Virginia Piedmont, just west of Richmond. About the same thing on the morning run, the 12Z run. You don't know. Also notice, see how much slide? It's pretty dry here in northeast North Carolina and Hampton, not much. This is picked up a little bit as well. So that's interesting. The snow amounts have picked up here in the Greenbrier Valley in eastern West Virginia as well, a little bit. And also in the southern Virginia Piedmont, Greensboro. So you can see some increases here, but generally the models are pretty good and showing fairly consistent idea in terms of the amount of precipitation. So 4/10 of an inch would equal 4 inches of snow. Now, what's the snow ratio going to be like? What are the temperatures going to be like? Well, this here is the snow map. This is the basic European for the total event, and you can see there's a little bit of 5-inch snows right in this area. You can see it in the Virginia Piedmont, Cumberland, Livingston, places like that. Amelia, and then 4 inches in Richmond, 2 inches, 3 inches in Hampton Roads. That's nice. 3 inches in Salisbury, Virginia Shore, up in here, and you can see down to Greensboro. Now Raleigh is right here. They're right on the edge. Roanoke, 2 inches there, right on the edge. DC, 2 inches. Okay, a nice little moderate snow. But if we use the Coachella, which is a little better and more accurate, I think a somewhat more accurate snow map, we can snow algorithm, we can see it's got 6 inches in the Virginia Piedmont, very close to Richmond, 5 inches in Richmond. And again, the snow amounts are enhanced everywhere. Now, very little, almost none of this is going to be sleet. This is going to be all snow because of the cold temperatures. So, Roanoke, 2-3 inches of snow, and there you can see that. 4 in Charlottesville, 3 in DC, the Shenandoah Valley, 3 or 4. Greenbrier, Snowshoe, 5-6 inches of snow there, and so on and so forth. So now if we look at the European model, the big scale, notice what's interesting here. This is interesting. Why does, according to the big snow here, these accumulating snow, why does New York City get screwed? Why does Philly get screwed out of the snow, shafted? Why does New Jersey? Why does Baltimore? Why does the Delmarva? Because this is from the upper level low, the upper level energy, and this is the coastal low, which brings the snow to New England. So this area is in between both features, and it gets the shaft on the snow. Now this is something they run at Weather Bell, which is a little off the beaten path. They take the WRF and they run it on the European grid. And they get a combination model, one of those weird things they do there. But the important thing is, notice it's got the nice 3 to 6 inch band of snow in central Virginia. And then it's got nothing in here, and then more snow in New England. So a lot of models are showing this gap here over New Jersey, Philly, Baltimore. These are the European ensembles. Again, all the red letters, all these little red L's. See the little red L's? Let me highlight them so you can see them. See the red L's, red L's, red L's. These are all different low pressure areas. A whole bunch of them are pretty close to the coast. So this would be very good news, even for Jersey and for the Delmarva, if this was the case, and also for central and eastern Virginia. So this thing still has a ways to go yet to develop. Now, looking at the snow ratio, this is interesting. Now, this is Wednesday morning. So let's look at our scale here. At the bottom of the scale, okay, the blue, in case you can't see the scale, this blue area, that is 5-to-1 snow ratio. And the 10-to-1 snow ratio is the pink line right here. That's 10-to-1. So 4/10 of an inch would equal 4 inches of snow. But look what happened when you get to Richmond. Richmond, you get the dark pink stuff. That's 12, 14, 16-to-1. That's pretty good snow ratio. So as a result, 4/10 of an inch might be 6 inches of snow. So, and now that's Wednesday morning. And then as we go on, you can see the snow ratio. This is Wednesday afternoon. Again, around 10, 13, 14, 1 over most of Virginia. And then by Wednesday evening, when the storm is winding down, you can see the snow ratios go to like 16-to-1, and the Arctic air is pouring southward. Now, these are the temperatures Thursday morning. Again, this doesn't take into account snow cover. The temperatures could be significantly lower in Virginia. I noticed it is showing some areas with a good snow in the Piedmont in here of temperatures in the single digits like here. So, we could see the temperatures drop off even more. Now, what happens beyond this? This is this is Saturday, January 20th. Notice the deep trough here. Look at the blue color lines. Look at the color lines. See the trough here? We have low pressure here, and we have a ridge here. So we have southwest winds, big trough on the west coast. This is a much warmer pattern developing. Much warmer pattern after January 20th. This is January 21st, 22nd. That low comes out of the west coast, goes up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. Cold front here, high pressure off the coast, southwest winds, hello 60s, hello 50s. And there's another system coming in from the Pacific here. And if we go beyond this, this is January 25th. Same sort of thing. High pressure ridge on the east coast, southwest winds. All the storm track is ever to the north. All the cold air is north of the U.S.-Canada border. And there we go. So, that's the upper air map at 36 hours. That should have been the beginning of the slideshow. Anyway, this finally is the temperatures here. You can see here for January 21st. The afternoon of the 20th. This is after the snow. You can see we have temperatures in the 50s over most of the Mid-Atlantic region, 40s in the Ohio Valley. This is the afternoon of the 21st, next Sunday. Temperatures near 60 in Richmond, near 60 in D.C., mid and upper 50s, all the way up towards New York City. 60s in the deep south. And then again, more mild temperatures on the 23rd. A lot of 50s, a lot of 40s, a lot of so on and so forth. So that's the video podcast. We'll see what happens with the new data when it comes out later on tonight. Tomorrow, this is meteorologist DT. I'll catch you on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page.